What's happening, guys? This is Hyper Paradox, and welcome back to Let's Play Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. As you probably have guessed, in this episode, I take on the Master Thief sprints in Sunset Snake Eyes. Now, there are only 5 sprints here, but some of them are a little bit trickier than you think. And, as you might have guessed, I started off with, well, a rocky start. This one really isn't as bad as some of the others, and it only took me one try to complete. But, as you can see here, you can hop over one of the spires, and that'll save you some time in the long run. And same thing right here. You don't have to hop on the pole with the coins, you can just hook and swing across. And as I said in the previous video, the roll is your best friend. Particularly in Sunset Snake Eyes, because there are a lot of downward hills in many of the levels, and you'll gain extra speed if you roll downhill. Even straightaways you can roll and it'll save you some time, because it's just a tiny bit faster than walking. And as you saw in the previous video, sometimes even 1/10 of a second can make all the difference. And as you can see, I already have plenty of time left. And the other good news is that the electronic floor sensors are really not the worst things in the world to deal with. But anyway, this is the end of the level, and overall it really wasn't too difficult for me. But believe me, some of the other ones in Sunset Snake Eyes took me a lot more tries. Case in point, Boneyard Casino. I actually think that this one is the most difficult of the Sunset Snake Eyes level, and it's mainly because it's so long. But as you saw, I did one continuous roll past the guards, and you don't want to roll on those floors with the floor sensors, because those ridges will slow you down. Now, I took a bit of a risk here and I took out the guards before they had a chance to shoot me, which is good news. But you, like I said before, you don't need to pay attention to you don't need to take out all of the guards in a level. Your main objective is to reach the end, not destroy the guards, although that can help sometimes. Now, these roulette wheels, in my opinion, are what make the sprint difficult, because it actually takes longer to jump against them than it does to go along with them. And the fact that some of them have laser security makes it even more difficult. But you should be around a minute by the time you reach this point. And another thing that can make this difficult is the end of the level, but more about that when I get there. Now, you have to take that guard out. I had so many attempts where I tried to get past him and then he would catch me. So you have to take that particular guard out. Now, be sure to jump over the laser grids, and I still find it cool that they're made of dice, which is a nice little touch. But this is what can make the level really frustrating, the giant roulette wheel at the end. Since you have to jump on it 3 times and avoid laser security, you'll want to make sure that you have a good amount of time left before you take it on. And that was all 3 of them, and there's Boneyard Casino. By the way, that took me about 13 tries. And here we are, straight to the top. This one is not as difficult. This one I'd say is one of the easier ones. Now, I did do a little bit of sequence breaking by jumping directly on the other side of the M. And really, your jumping on the sign is what's going to determine your time, because this is the part that takes the longest. And as you can see, I had to time my jumps carefully in order to get over that sign. And once you get up here, the clock will actually stop when it falls, so don't worry about that. But anyway, now it's just a straight roll until you get to the top. There's really nothing to say about this level. It's very, very straightforward. And there aren't any shortcuts per se, but you can make certain jumps that will allow you to get to the end of the level quicker. And you should have around 15 seconds by the time you get here. Now, this actually made me panic a little bit because I was trying to jump onto the ball, but Sly kept clinging onto the ledge. And after anher cutscene, you have to drop down, but you still have to walk into the end of the area. Okay, next level is Back Alley Heist. This is another level that can be made easier if you know what jumps to take and what to jump onto. Now, when you're destroying those neon mugshot signs, try to make it so that you hit the sign and then jump on the platform. That way you won't lose time via having to make a second jump. And believe it or not, you can't actually jump through that ladder as you just saw me do there. But a lot of jumping, not really a lot of places where you can use your roll move. But this is definitely the most annoying part of the level with the spotlights. Because you really can't, there really is no other way other than to get past them other than to avoid them. And this one, I panicked a little bit because I was afraid that that light would spot me. But fortunately it didn't. Now, if you can do those jumps properly, if you can jump off those ventilation shafts, you can make it so that you can jump onto the second floor. Unfortunately, I wasn't so lucky. But nonetheless, I still managed to reach the top. Now jump directly onto that platform there. And if you jump directly onto the platform instead of sneaking, you'll beat the level. Alright, last level is 2 to Tango. This one is yet another very straightforward level. Now make sure you take out the guard before you start the sprint. That will save you some time. By the way, you can't just go off into the distance, take out some guards, and then activate the Master Thief sprint. Because if you take too long, the hourglass icon will disappear. Yeah, I know, kind of jerkish, right? Since this mainly takes place on rooftops, not as much room for you to use your roll move. But make sure you watch where you jump, because depending on where you jump, that will save you some time. And right here is really the only place you can use your raccoon roll move. The other times you're just going to be chased by Carmelita. And as you can see, I jumped straight onto that mattress, which saved me a bit of time. Also, I know I've said this a lot, but you gotta make sure where you watch where you're going when you're being attacked by Carmelita. Because since her shots destroy everything they touch, you could end up accidentally falling to your doom. Well, good thing I have the bottomless pit upgrade. Let's just say that. Alright, overall, this is another very straightforward level. And ironically, that's what makes these sprints so difficult, is because they are quite straightforward. There's really, with some exceptions, there really aren't many shortcuts that you can take. And once you destroy this fire hydrant, then you will complete the Master Thief sprint. Alright? Next time in Let's Play Sly Cooper, we're gonna do the Master Thief Sprints of the Next World. So, see you guys then.